By the way, before I really get started, I have rules. You know, as celebrities, we all have rules. So I've got some rules, and I really need you to stick with them if you would, please. Yell, police officers, will you please, I need you to keep these rules. Get these people in control. Yelling, screaming, heckling, cheering, and animal noises are all heavily encouraged, so please, don't be afraid to get rowdy.
All right.
Don't be afraid to get rowdy.
Yeah.
Man, tough round. Okay. What have you sacrificed for your liberty and freedom? It's a big question. That's why we're here with the Liberty Loyalists. First of all, I do want to thank the two other speakers we had. The representative, what a great job he did. And by the way, he's got a book out there too. And I hope you'll go get his book. He's a great guy. Nice job. Kevin Jackson, he's a black guy, by the way. I don't know if you noticed that. He's got a book too. I hope you'll sponsor him and follow him. I don't have a book, but I can read. So that's good. And by the way, I don't know if you know this, but I'm a white guy. So I know we all look alike. So please just pay attention. I'll try to let you not forget who I am. I think about sacrifices a lot. January 26, 1969. Dao Tiang, Vietnam. 24-year-old Captain Gary D. Humphries. Shown a colonel around a base. He was a XO, he's a captain, XO, the second in command. And he was showing a general around the base. And as he's showing the general around the base, there's a rubber plant owned by the French government over there. And they're on orders, no matter what, you can't attack that French plant, that rubber plant. So every day, my father was a Cobra helicopter pilot. I don't know if you know what a Cobra is. Cobras were the big, bad gunships, man. If you were on our side, you saw a Cobra, you're going to make it. You're on the other side, you ain't going to make it. So Captain Humphries is showing the colonel around the base. And every morning, every night, when the helicopters would come in, they'd shoot rockets from that rubber plant into the base. It was so frequent that they used to go and pull out chairs and watch the fireworks come in. Anyway, as my father is showing a colonel around the base, or general around the base, some punk VC pulls a rocket out and shoots the rocket and kills my father with a wound about this big, went right through his side, killed him instantly. And so when you think about sacrifice for liberty and freedom, I have some big shoes to fill. And I think about it a lot. I don't know if he watches, but I kind of like to think he does and try to live my life. What would my father like to see? And so when I come and speak to a group, I'm flying all over the country. I've been flying all over the world, actually. I've been meeting with, military guys in Iraq and Afghanistan. I've been to Guantanamo Bay 3 times. Interviewed terrorists in the Middle East. One of the things that's fun about terrorists, by the way, is the bigger the conspiracy, the more they believe it. My favorite one. It was the Jew. By the way, not the Jews. The Jew. I guess it's one guy. It was the Jew that sent Monica Lewinsky in to have sex with Bill Clinton so the Jew could run America. You really believe that? Oh, yes, of course. That's exactly what happened. Okay. This is what we're dealing with, okay? This is what we're dealing with. I almost got my head cut off, too. I asked him this question. Didn't go over so well. I was in the Middle East. I was in a place called the Balata refugee camp, which is like the worst of the worst of the worst. I'm meeting with the leaders of the Al-Aqsa Martyrs Brigade, which were Yasser Arafat's personal terrorist unit. These guys were the guys that strapped bombs on the kids. And I'm sitting next to a guy who was going to be a martyr. He's dead now. He's killed himself. And I said, 72 virgins. You don't really buy that, do you? Oh, yes, of course. It's in the Quran. 72 virgins. Wouldn't you want a couple that knew what they were doing? I thought it was funny. So the next question I said was, so Yasser Arafat, did he die of natural cause or poisoning? The president died of poison. I heard he may have been involved in homosexual activity. He may have died of AIDS. What do you say to that? Oh, anyone said it to my face, I cut off his head! They weren't kidding. A couple of weeks ago, I was in Israel. I went to Egypt. went to the sign that said, "Welcome to Egypt," with a friend. I said, "Hey, take a picture of me." It's a "Welcome to Egypt" sign. As we take the picture, 4 guys in regular clothes, plain clothes, start coming up, "Delete, delete, delete, delete." What, delete, delete. Come to find out, these are their Secret Service police officers. And if you disappear with one of those guys and never come back, there are no questions. They didn't like me taking a picture of the "Welcome to Egypt" sign. They held me for an hour and a half and were calling me a spy. And for the grace of God, we got out of there. But this is the kind of stuff that they're dealing with over there. But here in America, thank God we haven't gotten that far. Thank God. Now, I'm not going to take all night here, and I know you guys have a lot of more important things to do. But I want to talk a little bit about history for a second. Why do we study history? We study history because we know that history tends to repeat itself. And if you know the past, you can understand the present, and hopefully change the future. Who wants to change the direction of the future that we're going into right now? I know I sure do. So let's go back to where things really got kind of messy for America, or good for America, depending on who you're with. Taxation without representation. Remember that phrase? We heard about that. Taxation without representation. It started this whole shower of pamphlets and tea bags and cannonballs across colonial America. But why was taxation without representation bad? Well, the colonialists thought that America should hold seats in the British Parliament. What we want to do was say, okay, we're going to give you money, and we're going to give you taxes, and if we have taxes, we want a seat in Parliament. And the British said, no, that's not how it works. The way it works is, we got these members of Parliament, and they represent everybody. Okay, so you're already covered. And we said, no, we want to be involved. See, the British had a thing called virtual representation. Again, that means that every member of Parliament represents the entire population. So you didn't need to have a bunch of idiots from America going to Britain. They had it covered for us. And so we had another idea. We said, okay, why don't we have our own assembly? We'll have it right here in America. We'll send you some information, then we can all work together. Nah, I don't think so. So we started a war, a lot of killing. Things were done. Ended Yorktown, 1781. This was good. But basically what we were saying was, taxation is immoral without direct representation. And by saying that, we actually denied the legitimacy of British rule. Because if we couldn't have direct political representation of the government, then you've got no moral right imposing your will on us. We need to have a representation. Taking money from me, taking money from the people without giving us a meaningful or direct say of how much we would be taxed or how it would be spent, our founding fathers believed was theft, and they believed it was tyranny. Now, I mean, it sounds like common sense, right? This is stuff that we believe in every day. But unfortunately, we have become quite comfortable with virtual representation. You look at the size of our government today. Huge amounts of tax, huge amounts of regulatory authority, with very direct impacts on your personal life. And they're all under control of very powerful congressmen and senators from different states. The lack of congressional term limits means that some of these people who have these safe seats are there forever. They get a whole bunch of power. And you will never have the chance to vote for or against that person in your entire life. For example, let's say you want to raise a concern about Missouri, and you go and talk to a guy like Harry Reid from Nevada. Not Nevada. Okay? So you go to Harry Reid, and you say, Harry, I got a problem. Harry goes, I don't care about you. You're in Nevada. You're in Missouri. You're not going to vote for me. And he basically gives you the exact same answer the British government gave the American colonialists. The federal government, we must be very powerful. We will address our social needs, and you must be satisfied with the virtual representation of Harry Reid, because you know what? He has the best interest of you at heart, right? So you don't need to vote for him. You just sit back, bend over, you take it. And it all boils down to this. You have to believe and give faith in Harry Reid, Nancy Pelosi, who used to be flying around on Broomstick 1, You have to believe that they're going to be out there for your best interest. You have to believe that just because, you know, they wiped out entire industries, just because they devalued our currency, just because they nearly crashed the planetary financial system by imposing their ideology on our mortgage industry, it doesn't matter. Don't worry, because these individuals with vast power over your life are elected and re-elected by a couple of 100,000 voters out of Las Vegas. Don't worry about it. Then your virtual representatives will frequently inform you that many of the reforms that you desire are literally and virtually impossible. It's impossible to cut that kind of money. It's impossible for spending cuts. It's impossible to get rid of these government agencies. Terminating failed programs that waste billions of dollars. It's impossible to get rid of them. Reduce simplified taxes, the fair tax. It's impossible, they say. All these things have been ruled off the table. And if you strongly dispute them, you're what? A traitor. Terrorist, as Joe Biden would call you. It's remarkable how the things, and how many things, the great majority of voters desire, but the representatives think it's unthinkable. It's impossible. And every 4 years, you will be one of several million people who chooses between a handful of viable candidates for the presidency, which has become so powerful by just calling it an executive no longer seems right. Many of these presidential votes will come from cast iron voting blocks in the North and in the South, whose allegiance was determined before the candidates were even named. Heck, before a lot of the candidates were even born, those blocks were set. These virtual representatives will virtually represent your interests in a gigantic system of entrenched lifetime bureaucrats who are nearly impossible to fire from their jobs. They have larger budgets. Their departments win larger budgets by failing at their missions. The more they fail, the larger the budgets get, and then they adopt new missions to fail at. But rest assured, your virtual representative will read virtually none of the regulations that you are personally having to live by, and they will be personally exempted from them. Now, should you make a wrong turn with some of these regulations, you're going to find yourself at the mercy of our incredibly powerful federal court system. The really important cases will crawl up to the 9 lords planted at the Supreme Court, whose personal and political struggles are studied by media oracles anxious to predict how they're going to alter history. Over the last few decades, the Supreme Court has become fond of activist rulings, which essentially transform them into a little band of eternal legislators with nobody to tell them what they can or can't do. Your only representation of the court consists of the chance that someone you may have voted for president years ago might have an opportunity to replace a couple of the judges. Among the infractions most likely to drag you into court are the violations of an arcane tax code that no single living person in the world virtually or literally understands. Right. The agency charged with enforcing this code, the IRS, comes up with incorrect answers to tax questions. The vast bulk of this code is designed to reward or punish behaviors of interest to the government. And sometimes a big program like Obamacare adds thousands of pages, which your virtual legislator have openly admitted they didn't read it, but they voted for it and passed it on Christmas Eve. How was that? Is the speech that bad? You're voting me? The ruling class and its favorite allies are largely exempted from this tax. Crimes that would result in fines and imprisonment for you, they are waved aside as inconsequential mistakes when committed by congressmen, senators, cabinet officials. So what? Guy here didn't pay taxes. So what? It's no big deal. It was a mistake. You make that same mistake, you go to jail. The sheer scale of federal programs. The government doesn't even audit itself or predict the consequences of its actions with the slightest degree of accuracy. You will be explicitly told, if you challenge your virtual representatives at a public forum, that you don't know what the hell you're talking about. How dare you question a Harry Reid or a Nancy Pelosi or a Claire McCaskill? How dare you? You're not smart enough. You don't know these things. How could you? You're just a stupid farmer. You're just a stupid plebe in flyover country. Given all this insulation and confusion, the ruling class still thinks there is too much direct representation in America. They are eager to pass authority upwards to international organizations that no American voter will ever be able to influence in the slightest. Right. The UN. Yep. Right now, the laws of other nations are cited in American court decisions. In a sustained effort to import a more pliable electorate from across the border, that has been underway for decades. President Obama, just the other day, stroke of the pen, law of the land. Yeah, we're not going to enforce illegal immigrant laws anymore. Forget it. They're here. Well, there is one thing. So if you're here, if you're illegal immigrant going to college, or if you're in the military, or if you have to take care of somebody else, they're not going to go after you. So in other words, unless you're an orphan without a girlfriend, you're pretty much exempt. You're going to be fine. Nobody cares. Illegal aliens are now routinely counted in the bogus numbers of uninsured Americans. That's what they cited to justify the passage of Obamacare. What impact does the growing importance of non-citizens have on the right of few citizens, including illegal immigrants, to representation in the national government that they lavishly finance? And there's only one answer to this. And it is the same answer the Founding Fathers gave the British. There is no such thing as representation in a huge, distant government. Only when power devolves to local governments, with tax and regulatory authority of the central government sharply limited, can meaningful direct representation exist at all. The Democrats don't know how to cut. The Republicans didn't know how to. That's real simple. Cut spending, cut government. Cut spending, cut government. Cut spending, cut government. Cut spending, cut government. It's not that hard. When you're broke, you cut your spending. You cut your expenses. It's not that hard. I don't know what they're smoking in D.C., but they're smoking something and it must be really good stuff. Because there's a problem there. This is why we're here. Now, before I continue, I'd like the guys in the back to pick up the collection plates and pass them because we have a lot of money we need to get from you guys. So if you would please... Oh, that's right, we're not asking for money. By the way, how much did you pay to get in here today? How much was it? How much were the tickets? Oh, I'm done. No, the Liberty Loyalists don't want your money. But there are 5 goals that they want to get across to you. That's why we're here. That's why I flew across the country. 5 goals. Number 1, education. Issues that affect the country. Issues that affect the state. We want to give you the information so you can talk to your friends and let them understand what's going on. So they go, oh, now I get it. Oh, that makes sense. Okay. Well, I didn't know that. Well, of course. Let's explain it to you in a way that you get. That's one thing we want to help do with you. Number 2, recruitment. We need you to join the group. We want people that don't just want to take action, but will take action. But, Rusty, I'm busy. I got kids. Heck, listen, I'm a single father. I got 2 girls. I'm a widower. My wife passed away. Believe me, I understand what it's like to be busy. I do 2 radio shows a day. 2. One's tough enough. I do 2. I'm not bitching. I'm just saying I get what it is to be busy. So what do we want? We want you to do something every single day. It's a second job. You're going around doing stuff for Liberty Loyalists. No. We want 300 people to give us 300 minutes. 300 minutes. 2 weekends of football. Can you give up 2 weekends of football? Okay, we'll wait till the football season's over. 2 weekends. That's it. That's all we're talking about. Spread out over 15 months. It's not a lot. And what we need your help with is to get the message out. Less government. Less regulation. Less taxes. More freedom. A great way to describe more freedom is your disposable income. How much money you have in your pocket? Money in your pocket is your freedom. It's what you can do with whatever you want. You can go on a trip, you can buy a boat, you can go and invest in your business, you can go blow it on beer, you do whatever you want. That's your freedom, that's your choice. The more the government takes from you, it is the more freedoms the government takes away from you. So that's what we need to get out there. The next thing, voter registration. Oh man, I don't want to talk to you. My vote doesn't count. I don't need to vote. Listen up, dummy. Of course your vote counts. Barack Obama lost the state of Missouri by 3,000 votes. We all remember in Florida what happened with the vote count at hundreds. Now, by the way, George W. Bush did win that. Get over it, liberals. Sorry. It makes a difference. How bad, think about this. How bad would things have been had we had Gore and then Obama? Sweet Lord, I know. Huh? We need to get people that understand the issues. So that's the thing about Democrats. They don't want people to understand the issues. They want people who don't understand the issues. That's why they have things like, oh no, we can't ask for driver's licenses where you vote. Now why the hell wouldn't you want to do that? Well, because it's disenfranchised people. Yeah, disenfranchised people vote 4 times. That's right. Or these other people, well, gosh, don't have any idea what you're voting for. Just vote Democrat. I got an idea. Here's my idea for voting. Tell me what you think about this. If we could have an ATM at every 7-Eleven, every grocery store in the country, why can't we have a voting booth that's like an ATM? I put in my card, I put in my PIN, and then 10 questions pop up, right? Question number 1, who's the President of the United States? Question number 2, who's the Vice President of the United States? If you don't get 5 out of 10, it says, sorry, too stupid, no voting for you. Just an idea. And I'm sure we use the term no voting for you. I'm sure that'll be right there. We need to get the right people. We need to get more people that understand the issues and why it's so important. Number 4, elect a constitutional, limited government president in 2012. Yeah. Again, the book ain't that hard. It's not that hard. You read the Constitution, you follow it, you don't make stuff up. It's like being the Bible. I got a thing with the Bible. If it's in the book, I believe it. When some other guy comes up and says, oh, I found something that's not in the book, you should believe this. I don't think so. I go to the book. That's me. I'm crazy. God wrote the book, not me. Yeah. Same thing with the Constitution. The founding fathers weren't idiots. Their fathers weren't commies, and they were probably born in America. But that's a different... I don't know what you're talking. Why are you laughing? Anyway, so that's very important. And then the other thing that's very, very important. Repeal of Obamacare by January 31st, 2013. Yay! We're not talking about an adjustment. We're not talking about, oh, we'll work on it. We're not talking about Boehner going in there and crying and making some kind of a deal. Get the thing off the books. Do it now. That's what we're all about. Now again, you guys are so important. This is the first meeting. This is the first day. You guys are the initial ones. You're the 300, man. You saw the movie 300? Who saw the movie 300? See it? Oh, who did not see 300? You go home and rent that movie when you get there, except kids. It's awful bloody. But 300, this is one of the most incredible battles of all time. This happened back in ancient Greece, right? In Athens. And it was about, I don't know if you get the whole story, but basically it was 300 guys that had to beat this incredible Ottoman Empire, the empire. It was an Arab group. And they lost. They were going to wipe out all of Greece from history. We today would not have known anything about democracy, Aristotle, Plato. The history of that would have been destroyed had it not been for 300 guys who stood up and fought and battled to the death. I'm not asking you to die. I'm not asking you to give your life like my father or other people who are sacrificing in Iraq and Afghanistan, Vietnam or World War II or Korea or even back in the Revolutionary War. But I'm asking you to stand up and fight and make a difference because you can. There is no group on this part of the state that is actively involved in this patriot movement of less government, less regulation, less tax, more freedom. And so what we need you to do tonight, don't give me money. Give me some of your time. Give me some of your energy, some of your passion. We need people with passion to be patriots. That was almost as good as a Jesse Jackson rhyme right there. I got P's right in every single word. We need your passion. We need your patriotism. We need you to go to the back and sign up. All we need is your name, your phone number, your email address, and we're going to give you ideas. We're not going to give you 1,000 things to do. We're going to give you specific things that are actually going to get done. I don't know about you. I am tired of being in groups that have meetings so they can meet, so they can maybe talk about meetings, so they can maybe meet, so they can have a big meeting. This is going to be a group where stuff is going to get done. Who wants to get some stuff done? Who likes the goals of the Liberty Loyalists? Do you like the goals of the Liberty Loyalists? I can't hear you. I'm going back on the radio. If you would please stand up, go to the back, sign those registration cards. Please get involved. We need you to get involved. I can't tell you how important it is for you guys to be here. I can't tell you how much I appreciate you being here. Thank you so much for being here. Go home and eat, or whatever you need to do. God bless you. May God bless you. May God bless America. And thank you for being up here and being a part of the Liberty Loyalists tonight. Thank you, everyone.